Thank you, Jorge, and thank you, Discoveries Conference, for this opportunity to talk to you today. I'm Dawn Garcia, and I was the 2023 president of the American Institute of Professional Geologists, known as AIPG. In 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through AIPG's program of professional certification of geologists. I won't be covering anything in detail, but I'll have the website and contact information for AIPG at the end of the presentation. So this is a bit like speed dating. Let's see which of these buttons work to move that forward. And I'm supposed to be pointing to that thing. There it was. Okay. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I'll give you an introduction of what AIPG is and why it was formed. I'll tell you about the benefits of AIPG, which will demonstrate why every geologist should want to be interested in this talk. And of course, once you know about AIPG, you'll want to join and become a certified professional geologist, a CPG. So I'll explain about the process of becoming a CPG. There we go. So here we are. We were founded in 1963 to respond to complaints about unethical people who were trying to say they were geologists and basically they were. So what are the benefits? As you'll see during this presentation, the professional geologist certification is based on education, experience, and reputation. The cédula that is given upon completion of an undergraduate degree in Mexico is not recognized as professional licensure or certification. It is a title of geologist that is given upon graduation, but that is just one of the three components needed to obtain professional certification by AIPG. Those are education, experience, and sponsorship. And sponsorship is the verification of your ethical reputation. So the qualified person, or QP, refers to regulations that specify the need for qualified professionals to prepare technical reports for mineral development projects. These regulations were enacted to increase the public's confidence that qualified professionals are involved in information disclosure. Mineral development and mining companies doing work in Mexico are often listed on stock exchanges outside of Mexico and therefore are subject to regulations that specify the need for qualified professionals. And you'll see on the screen that we have agreements of mutual recognition with other professional organizations and international collaboration with members in 54 different countries and organizations all over the world who interact with AIPG. So there's a lot of information required to obtain certification as a professional geologist. AIPG recognizes that the level of effort is challenging. It is a rigorous screening process and there's strong management of the certification program, but that's also made AIPG an international leader in professional matters related to geologists. And you'll see that AIPG.org on the screen. That's the website where you can get started on the application. Plus there's information about the additional things that you need to know about for the application process. Okay, education, that's one of the first things. You need to become a CPG. So you need to have a bachelor's degree in geological sciences, at least 36 semester hours, and the reviewers will be looking for the fact that you've completed the key core geosciences classes. You need to get transcripts from all colleges and universities attended, and some special tips for you, some advice. You can use continuing education courses to demonstrate sufficient coursework, The transcripts are typically sent directly to AIPG from the issuing academic institution. That can be an issue in other countries, and AIPG can work with you to get those transcripts, whether it's from the university or from you directly. And when it's a course that does not have a very simple name, the applicant should provide a description of what's in that course. So any transcripts that aren't in English should be accompanied by a translation also. You need to show that you have a minimum of 8 years or 96 months of professional experience, and that experience will be verified from employers or supervisors. So, you can get credit for an additional advanced degree, 1 year for a master's, 2 for a PhD. One of the key things about this is that you need to show at the level of experience is considered to be a professional, not just a technical level. So some tips: read the application instructions to see how you should be describing that experience. And your work experience needs to show that you're going up in the level of professional responsibility and duties. It's okay to have gaps in experience. We all know about, especially in mining, it's up and down and up and down. You just need to explain those gaps. And if you have any questions, contact AIPG. Sponsorship. Now this is the verification of your reputation and ethics. So 3 professional geologists are needed to be sponsors for you. 2 of those sponsors need to be CPGs. We understand that in a lot of places you're not going to know a CPG, and especially outside of the U.S. So if you can't get the 2 CPGs and a third professional geologist, you can have 6 professional geologists who basically have the knowledge of your qualifications and can verify your integrity and conduct. Be sure you include the email and phone number of these sponsors on your application, because they may be contacted by the screening committee. And if you haven't had an opportunity to know a CPG or work with one, you can also contact the AIPG National Office to get a list of CPGs in your country of residence. This is the process. There's an online application with all the forms. You will request your education transcripts from those colleges and universities that you've attended. You will download the geological experience verification forms and send them to your employers. AIPG, and you also need to do that with the sponsor statements. AIPG will compile the documents when they receive them and then determine when the application's complete. In other words, they've received all of those forms from your various employers and sponsors. For international applicants, AIPG's National Screening Committee gets involved, and we understand that not everyone will belong to an AIPG section in the U.S. Once that the screening committee has approved the application, then AIPG will send you a notification, and if approved, then the membership fee invoice will be sent to you. The applicant pays the annual fee, whether you have a section or national dues, and you sign an ethics declaration. Because AIPG is not going to know how many colleges, universities, sponsors, etc., that you're going to be asking to send in a form, you're going to need to keep track of that. That's really important, because otherwise AIPG won't know whether or not they can tell you that your application's complete. So I suggest that you track your status, and then you check to see with AIPG that all your documents have been received. It's actually a good idea to have a letter that accompanies your application, so they know what you're going to be sending in and who else is going to be sending in information on your behalf. And you may be contacted during the application process should there be any questions or the screening committee wants to get any additional information. That's the end. So that was the quick version of how to do this. As I said, it can be challenging because there's a lot of information that's requested, and we appreciate that, especially for applicants who have much more than just the minimum of 8 years of experience. And just contact the national office if there are questions or you need any help with your application. So I appreciate you being here for my talk. I'm around for the rest of the conference. Happy to answer any questions, and I'll be at the Stantec booth periodically if you need to find me, or just look for my white hair. So I'm pretty noticeable. So thanks very much.